Abe Lincoln once said, "History is not history unless it is the truth." Think about that for a minute. Have we been taught the truth?
In audio.
One thing led to another. I thought, like everybody else, that history was correct, that Jesse James was killed by Bob Ford, and found out just how wrong it is. And you've been around it long enough now that you know it. Jesse went on and lived to be if he'd lived 2 or 3 more weeks, he would have been 104 years old. It's been very interesting, you know, when you get into things like the Knights of the Golden Circle, which is a branch off of the Confederate Army. Jesse was quite involved in that. History better get ready to open up their mind and start taking in the truth rather than what's been written in the history books that's incorrect. I first started talking to the news media about the Knights of the Golden Circle. A lot of them would write that there wasn't any such thing, and I didn't know what I was talking about. Well, now they know there was such a thing, and this was after the Civil War. Jesse was a comptroller for that, time to open up some minds.
So he was really basically the comptroller or the paymaster.
What they said.
Took care of money.
Yeah. When he found out what the people behind the Golden Circle were not from the United States, and when he found out what they were really doing, he started moving a lot of that money to different locations. I told you that I knew 2 of the men that helped move it. And this was on up in like the 30s or 40s, moving money. I know where one of the locations is, and I know 2 of the men that moved it for him. When they got that moved, he was paying them $5 an hour. They got that moved, he offered them $10 an hour, which was a lot of money back in those days. Nobody was making $2 an hour. They'd go to Louisiana and move some more for him, and they told him they didn't want to. They lived right here in Oklahoma, and I was good friends with their family. Not hearsay, that's a fact. I think originally they intended to turn it over to the South. The South rose again. They wanted to be financed for the Second Civil War. And they found out that there was not going to be a Second Civil War. So in 1916, they closed their books on the KGC, supposedly, for 50 years, which would have been 1966. None of them were still alive at that time. We've been places where they were, and on 3 occasions dug up some money that they buried. Unfortunately, the people that I worked with helped to locate this stuff, got to pay me my part. All I'll say about that. I've been honest with people. I give them what I found, and I set out to prove the truth. Aubrey Oldehard told me he'd give me that manuscript of his wife's 343 pages if I would carry on what they'd been doing to prove the truth. And here I am several years later trying to prove the truth, and I have proved it. Whether people want to accept it or not, if they pay attention, if they're dumb, they'll blow it off. I don't have time for dummies.
What has been the most rewarding thing throughout your entire research?
Well, I've had a lot of ups and downs. But proving the truth, meeting a lot of the people that knew Jesse, that people can't do this now because they're dead. I was lucky to get to be there before some of them died, and a lot of Jesse's relatives. Made a lot of friends in a lot of different areas. That's been rewarding. I haven't liked people calling me a liar and saying I didn't know what I was talking about, but they're beginning to realize that maybe I do. I've traveled into a lot of states to do a lot of these things. Don't want to do it again. A lot of what I did can't be done again. And a simple reason that most of those people are gone.